Hi and welcome along to an All Guns Blazing podcast special from here at the Emirates. DT, of course, is not with us. He's in hospital at the moment, recovering from his operation. And from what I've heard of, he's doing pretty well. We saw the video of him speaking about Wenger, and he sounded well. But wow, the news that Arsène Wenger is leaving. End of the season. Arsène Wenger will be leaving Arsenal Football Club. I've got Troopz with me here. I've got Claude with me here. There've been two big advocates of Arsène Wenger leaving. And just to say that we wanted to have Ty on this video, but he was so upset about the whole thing that he's gone home early. And that's the truth. He's gone home early.
He's gone to the under-23s.
Huh?
He's gone to the under-23s.
Has he gone to the under-23? Somebody told me that he went home earlier because he just didn't want to speak to no one.
Under-23s, they're in action at the London Stadium tonight.
Oh, that's right. And if they win that, they could top it. Actually, he did say something about that. But I know that earlier on, somebody from the Evening Standard came over to him and they said, yeah, can we get a few words? And he said, nope. So he was pretty hurt about it. But I don't know. I've interviewed you guys today. I feel a bit sad.
No,
I feel a bit sad about Arsène Wenger leaving.
Let's not have all this sad business. As I said earlier, sad person is that person I walked past Finsbury Park this morning, sat by a load of newspapers and lying down and not a penny to his name. That's what I call a sad person, mate. Homeless bloke on the streets. That's sad.
That's a sad person, but I feel sad.
Not £10 million a year manager, right? He's gonna go now. He'll probably go on to something else. That's it. He's had 20 years here, yeah? That's it. He's done his time.
That's why I feel a bit sad, because he's been here. He's been here for such a long time. He's done. Listen, Claude, remember, I want you to remember now some of the great things that he's done at the club. The first 10 years of him being here, he introduced the great football that he introduced.
Yes. And
the titles. Hold on, let me finish. The titles that he won, right? Yeah. Brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah. Then, after that, we moved to this stadium here. Yeah. He oversaw that transition. Yeah. So leading up to it, all the building and stuff like that, he oversaw a smooth transition from Highbury to here. All right, we didn't win titles, but for a long period of time, he kept everything stable. I know there was big financial troubles here because with the stadium, and he still had us competing at first. All right, we dropped off later on. I can see his face. But he had us competing. He had us in the top four. I know people ridicule that, but now you see every manager desperate to get in the top four now. And, all right, the last few years have not been great. We know that. And the time was right for him to go. But come on, surely you've got to remember some of the great things he's done. I feel a bit...
humiliations as well in the last few years that weren't acceptable. And it could have been... And there was years where we could have been challenging if he'd went out and bought the right players. When we were on the verge of challenging and we could have actually got the job done, he decided to save the money instead and not go out and buy these players. And we could have won the title. An example is when Leicester won it. We should never have finished behind Leicester in the league. Never in a million years. So for me, I'm not having it, mate. I'm saying he done well in his first 10 years. Great, yeah.
Not a tinge of sadness.
No, there's no sad. I'm not going to have all this sadness nonsense, mate. He's on 10 million.
Nonsense.
£10 million a year. I like to be sad, mate. Right? I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to be a hypocrite, mate. I'm not.
It's not. Listen, it's not
all
trainers
on here, not flip flops. Trainers. Right? I'm
not all about money, Claude.
I'm not going to have all this crap. I'm not going to have it, mate. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. He's got £10 million a year. He's had good wages. I mean, God, £10 million a year for what? What's he done in the last few years on that salary? You know what I'm saying?
Claude, Troopz, what about you? Bit of sadness?
Yeah, I said like a bit, but like I'm happy he's gone because
listen, I know you're happy he's gone, but I'm saying, do you not have a bit of sadness for? This guy's a great manager. We're gonna realise in a few years' time how great he was. He was a great manager, great personality, great man. You know, he's done great things for this club. He's done lots of charitable stuff. He's a guy, his stature, anywhere you go around the world, you know, he's known. He's been a great leader of his club.
Yeah, he was. But he also fucked up a lot. You understand? We can't forget the fuck-ups as well, fam. Yeah, I'm a little bit sad, but not like sad, like crying sad.
Best football you've ever seen at this club was because of this man.
Yeah, because he was the longest reigning manager in my time. You understand? When I've seen 3 managers. I saw George Graham, I saw Bruce Rioch, and I saw Wenger.
Oh, who was the best?
Wenger played the best football. You
No,
understand?
who was the best?
But you can't.
Who went?
Let me talk then, innit? People forget George Graham's record. People forget 89. You understand? I might have been 2, but your generation and maybe the generation but just below you, before my generation, remember that. And that was a difficult thing to do. And people forget that George Graham's team, how many goals did they concede that season? In a 42-game season. And that gets brushed under the carpet. George Graham has no respect. Nobody was sad when Graham left. You understand? And Graham,
it was circumstances. He left under pretty
the circumstances
a dark
were,
cloud, didn't he?
But Wenger's even under a dark cloud as well, fam. Unless he wins the Europa
Not
League.
as dark a cloud as that.
Unless he wins the Europa League, he's leaving this club under a dark cloud, fam. Because if he leaves, he's leaving now. We're 6th. We're out of the Champions League. If we don't win the Europa League, he's left under a black cloud. The only way he can save himself is Europa League. And the reason why I'm saying that, all right, I'll back it for the next 5 games, because I want Champions League blood. You understand? If we want a proper manager to come in, you think they're going to come into a club that's in Europe, like in Europa League, when there's Chelsea are looking for a manager? You understand? They're going to look at it and think 2 London clubs now. Which one is in the better predicament to compete now? You understand? And fight. Chelsea have got the money to spend. Yeah? We might not have the money to spend. They say we've got the money, but they don't spend the money. They spend it now and again. It's not consistent. You understand? So we need that Champions League football, because that will be the pool. Because Chelsea ain't getting top 4, blood. They're not getting top 4. I said it from time ago on Bioshow. They're not getting top 4, blood. We can win the Europa League, blood. You understand? So yes, I am a little bit sad, but I'm happy as well, blood.
I'm not saying you
I'm
can't be
feeling
happy.
Three emotions right now. 3 emotions right now. Shocked, happy, and sad. Because my mum said it's like a death. That's like a death in the family. He's been around for so long. You understand? She's seen Oliver managers. You understand? She's you lot's age, maybe a bit younger. You understand? But she's like you lot's. I have to be my mother here. Like, but like, I'm being real with it. Like, you understand? So she had that. I don't know, man. She's like Thai blood. You understand? She always defend Wenger. But then even she realised at a point that it was Crystal Palace last year when my mum said to me, nah. I was sitting in the hospital, she's next to me, she said, nah. No. I can't defend this no more. So yeah, I'm sad, but it's time to move on now, fam.
Also, Robbie, you've got to remember, George Graham had that European ban. He couldn't play in the European competitions a lot. Also,
He didn't go to season. He didn't get Invincibles, did he?
In them days, you didn't have the comfort of finishing the top 4 either to get in the Champions League. So that's got to be taken into consideration. And he also pulled off one of the greatest European performances by beating one of the best sides in Europe in Parma when they had Zola, Brolin at their best. And he produced with a team that, I'm not being funny, not half the ability this lot have got, and went on won a final in Europe. And also, you would never have got, Wenger would never have pulled off that league title win in '89. So let's get this in consider. It's not for me.
Hold on, hold on.
Gone to Anfield and produced that, because he wouldn't have been able tactically to do it, mate.
Yeah, but
right.
What are you talking about? He went to Tottenham and won the title.
Old Trafford.
Right, he went to Old Trafford and won the league title. He went a whole season unbeaten.
I'm talking about going to one of the greatest teams in British football and going. Remember, Liverpool were one of the greatest teams in British football, and remember the title was already virtually won anyway at Old Trafford. They only needed a point there. They had to win 2-0 away from home, mate. 2-0 away from home. 2-0 away.
John Cross going past there.
Yeah, no, exclusive from John, you get me?
Right, you've got John Cross coming in. Right, move up a little bit.
Move up now, bro.
Move up a little bit. Move up.
Welcome to ArsenalFanTV, you get me?
Now you know what, John. Yeah, you know what. Actually, to
You're
have.
not going to kill me, are you?
We're not going to kill you. We're not going to kill you. We've got John Cross here. Top journalist.
Chris Hudson would describe a media lovey. Right away.
No, John's just walking past, and John would have just been in the press conference. But John, you know, we were just having this argument, right? And I was saying that we've got to remember the great things that Arsène Wenger did, and Claude's reminding me and saying, the great things George Graham did, and he's right. George Graham did do great things, but you, as a guy that, you know, you've been following and, you know, talking and commenting on Arsenal for all these years, Arsène Wenger, some of the things he's done, no other manager going to be able to come in and do that, are they?
No, Robbie, absolutely no chance. Listen, I know it's a line I sort of trot out a lot, but he's the greatest manager that I think Arsenal have ever had, probably ever will have. I know you're laughing, but it's just because you'll never get, I don't care which club, in which division, in which country, a manager who serves for 22 years. The first 10 years was magnificent. I mean, sweeping all before, surely no one can disagree that football was amazing. Yep. 3 titles, doubles, the invincible season, incredible, absolutely incredible. The next 10 years, look, let's be honest here, it's been painful at times, but you've got to break it down. First 10 years, football manager. Second 10 years, and I know people, Claude, you won't like this, but he's accountant. He's accountant.
In the first, when he was very successful, he only had to compete with Ferguson, and suddenly when
that was the best team around, wasn't it? And he was the best manager. He's the best manager we've ever seen in the Premier League.
I agree, but will you tell me something? People compare him with George Graham. Do you honestly think he would have the tactical nous to have gone to Anfield and done what George Graham done? Be honest with me now. Be honest.
I don't think he would have played such a tactical game. I think Arsène Wenger would have got. I mean, listen, Arsène Wenger's won at Real Madrid, So let's keep it in perspective here. But I do think George Graham. It's funny, isn't it? Because with George Graham and the manner of his exit, I love George Graham. I still do. I've still got so much respect for him, and I think it was sad in a way that the way he went for many years, even the club just separated themselves, and now it's great to see him back in the fold and getting him the respect he's presented on pitches, here before games and what have you. And I thought the danger of Arsène Wenger and the way it was going, the way it was unfolding, was that we wouldn't have that respect because it was fading. Fans were staying away, and I can understand them because ultimately fans will always decide a manager's future.
But we've got to have respect for him. I mean, Claude's saying to me he ain't sad.
I'm just saying the whole business is sadness. What I'm saying is that it's not as if he's going out with potless or no money at all, is it?
We're not talking about money.
When I'm talking about sadness, as I said, I saw a guy on the streets. That's sad. When someone's got no money and he's sitting in line in the streets all night, that's sad. I mean, he's going to have a nice, comfortable. He'll probably go on to another club. I don't know.
He definitely won't retire. I'll tell you that.
Go on to another club.
The only thing I'd say about that is it's all relative, isn't it? I'm totally with you. Listen, I live in North London. We all see it, and it's not a bed of roses for a lot of people, absolutely. But what we've got to be realistic about is that Arsène Wenger, he lives for this football club, and he's given his last 20 years for this football club. He's given his everything for it. And then when you take him away, I promise you, at the end of the season in mid-May, he would not know what to do with himself. And that's why I think he'll go into another job.
You say he lives for the club, but don't you think? And we're going back to last May. Don't you think he made a very selfish decision? I think he should have gone last May. He would have gone on a high, and you even admitted it. You said it as well, John. I know you. I quoted you. You said he should have gone last May.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he should have gone. He made a very selfish decision.
Listen. I think people think that I've rewritten history. I said at the time I was very, very clear that he should have gone. He should have gone last May. And listen, you could even make a case for him going in 2014. I know a lot of people have, but I was thinking, should he go? Shouldn't he go? But he stayed on. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, we've even laughed about this because he sort of said to me, "Oh, you thought I should have gone, didn't you?" It's just come up in conversation. I said, "Yeah, well, yes."
John, you're here. You are the closest journalist of all the journalists to Arsenal Football Club. Did you have any inkling that he was going to go today, or was it a complete shock to you as well?
It's been a shock to me today. I woke up this morning, I began to get a couple of hints that something might be on, and I sort of, obviously, you make your calls and people are ignoring your calls, and you think, well, something's afoot. What I would say is that over the last few weeks, I've just had an inkling that, and I've written that basically he could win the Europa League and kind of still go, and I've just felt something's changed. And what's interesting is the dynamic is that basically I think the board, particularly the old school board members, wanted to change it last summer. And ultimately, I think that Arsène Wenger, I think the board committed to him about April time and decided we're going to stick with him. And then come around the final, Arsène Wenger played it out and basically waited and waited. and then obviously decided to stay with the backing of Stan Kroenke. But what I think has changed this time around is that I think Arsène Wenger could see the writing on the wall, the way that the season was coming, the way that I think the club would again look to change it in the summer. And I think he's gone on his own terms now, rather than kind of face the consequences at the end of the season.
So you feel it's him. You feel that he said, "Listen, I'm going." It's not they've sacked him. It's not like they've said, "Nah, listen, Arsène, it's you either go now or at the end of the season we're going to have to say, you're gone," which then everyone's going to interpret as you've been sacked.
Well, exactly. You can't sack Arsène Wenger. No one can sack Arsène Wenger. But I tell you, the closest you can get to it is have that conversation at the end of it. And basically, at the end of the season, say, look, we think it's time to go. I think he's read the signals and basically decided to go now on his own terms, as I say, rather than kind of wait until the end of the season and discover his fate then.
What appalled me as well is at Anfield, when we went to Anfield. And,
in August.
And he played Oxlade-Chamberlain, knowing that he wanted to go to Liverpool. Well, what sort of decision is that? And playing Hector Bellerin out of position. I thought, to me, he deliberately wanted to make chaos. Because, well, I'm sorry, but you're playing a player out of position, and you're playing a player that's going to leave, and you're playing Alexis, and Alexis was on the bench, wasn't he? And then he's bringing him on players that weren't happy. And I also believe, right, these players wanted to leave in the summer. Alexis wanted to leave, didn't he? He wanted to leave. Why we dragged it on for another 6 months when he should have got rid of him. He should have got rid of him at the time.
I do think he's made mistakes. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain's certainly one of them. Listen, I know people laughed at me at the time. I knew he'd come back to haunt them. And it's just such a sort of highlights the issue, doesn't it? But basically Klopp has coached him and pushed him on. And that's the sort of the failing here, I think, to a degree, in a way. And it's like, I felt that he would come back to haunt because of his pace and his power. Alexis Sanchez, you can't win with Alexis Sanchez because a few years ago they sold Robin Van Persie towards the end of the window, and people said, oh, they're lacking ambitious selling club. Well, they keep hold of him this time, and everyone kills them for doing that as well. So there's no win. So, but the one thing is, I think he realised he made a mistake. But on Sanchez, and he admitted, didn't he, sort of kind of to some box holders here recently. But I think various bits and pieces have unravelled this season that collectively it's come back to haunt them, and it's not been a good season at all.
Shouldn't we have also brought Czech's, the goalkeeping coach, Petr Cech? Sorry, Petr Cech is sorry, Troopz. Petr Cech, the goalkeeping. He always works with that goalkeeping coach, isn't it? At Chelsea. Yeah. Should he have been allowed to bring him with him? And I'm not being funny. I think the coaching as well. If you look at our defending, it's appalling. We're not defending properly. There's something not right. The whole coaching setup is wrong, and that's all under him. It's all under his instruction. And I don't know whether does Steve Bold have a say? Does he not have a say? I don't know.
There's a few things that really frustrate me. In that, basically, look at the recruitment of one summer. So they don't sign an outfield player in one summer, and they get Petr Cech, who I thought would be brilliant, and indeed I think has been good. Okay, he's maybe not in his sort of glory days, but I still think he's been good. The sort of the following year, they've signed at the cost of £90 million Mustafi, Perez, and Xhaka. And the only one of the three is Xhaka has had, shall we say, mixed results, isn't he? And then, you then sort of running to stand still, and that's bad recruitment. Why are you not getting the best out of Mustafi, who's played more than 20 times for Germany? I mean, he's been shocking this season, absolutely shocking. And why are you not drilling that defence? And also about the coaching, the coaches sort of frustrated me, and that I think the board, it was obvious Ivan Gazidis talked about a catalyst for change and making changes behind the scenes, and fair play to him for that. I think he's come out stronger for that. But they've made sort of tweaks and changes. But what I would say in the, getting in Barcelona's director of football and then Mislintat from Dortmund, I do think now, what I would say is the club is in a better place now than I think I can ever remember in this current regime to make the right next appointment. I think it's got to be someone young, vibrant, bold.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Against his wishes, this That wasn't for. He didn't want that, did he?
Mislintat.
Yeah, no. Wenger didn't want that, did he?
I don't know.
Because he was complaining that before last season that he was talking about directing traffic, wasn't he? He didn't.
The director of football. Yeah.
You know what, John? I'll ask you, John, right? Because sorry, I know he was on his way home, but we ambushed him. We ambushed him on his way home. But John, who's that next person going to be? You got your ear to the ground. You must. Your little insiders.
Not Brendan Rodgers.
Whenever who's that next person? He's been in fear that it's going to be Brendan Rodgers. Who do you think it could be?
Don't be in fear of Brendan Rodgers, Claude.
No, mate.
I like Brendan Rodgers.
He's defensively like Wenger. We defend the same way. That is one of the weak points of Brendan Rodgers. His teams can't defend.
Yeah, his football is great. Listen, I think that it's a short list. I genuinely think they haven't made a decision.
What's that short list?
I think it's got Luis Enrique on it. I think it's got Joachim Löw on it. Allegri. Okay. And then the Monaco manager is interesting, Jardim. Because it was really interesting listening to Ivan Gazidis earlier, and he was talking about the new manager has to inherit the sort of the style of football, the philosophy that Wenger has, and then also a commitment to younger players, which I think is all is there for what we'll see. Now, for me, that would rule out Ancelotti, for example, because I think he's a little bit older and he hasn't always gone for younger players, has he? But I also think that the other issue for me on that is Jardim has an outstanding record with younger players.
What about Tuchel though? You ain't said him.
Well, no, I haven't, because I do think people assume that he's now got the PSG job on a 2-year contract, and I do think that it'll be interesting to see whether there's any way that PSG could back out of that, because they've tried so many times for Wenger, and now the irony that he's finally available, they've just got someone else. But I do think that Tuchel's got the PSG job. That's the thing.
Get on with this bloke, does
no, a year ago, the thing is, I would have said Tuchel is your man, and he's their first choice, and I still think he's got admirers here. And I just feel that because of that, he's banned Mislintat from the Borussia Dortmund training ground. People have talked about a sort of a kiss and make up exercise between the two of them. I'm not completely convinced you can ever get over that. I mean, come on, that's not that. They're supposed to be the two tightest guys around. Mislintat was recruiting the players or spotting the players and giving them to the manager. And those two, when they fall out like that, for me, you can't ever sort of kind of have that level of trust again, can you?
Listen, John, thank you very much. I know we stopped you from going, we ambushed you. No, but we appreciate you dropping by.
The whole media love it.
Honoured to be on the show. Listen, I love the show. I know some.
Even though Chris tore into you that time.
Yeah, no, I do. Sometimes the thing is, sometimes I think people miss the fact that you will never get away from a barometer of any football club is the fans. The barometer of the fans at Arsenal has decided on Arsène Wenger, and so that's a fact. And
do you think actually, because I think Troopz, you said it earlier, innit, that you feel a lot of it's to do with all the empty seats and stuff like that.
And because we're in the semi-final of the Europa League, and I believe that these lot know that they want us to back Wenger, for him to go out on a high. And I think that if we never lost to Newcastle as well, I don't think they would have announced it today as well.
And then you look at the games coming up, 3 games coming up. Right,
away games as well.
Atletico, Man United, Atletico. Yeah. If those go wrong, well, West Ham. Yeah, West Ham. But I'm on about those 3.
No, the thing is about this is, have you looked? I mean, I did a story about this the other day, in that basically, if Arsenal finish 7th, obviously you're relying on Southampton not to win the FA Cup. They start their season in the second round Europa qualifier, basically. July 26th, which is the same day they've got a pre-season friendly in Singapore. Yep. I'm sure you booked your holidays already.
Well, not yet, because I saw that because we might finish 7th.
Well, we've been on tours together, haven't we? It's but I just feel as if, I mean, you needed something to bring it together, and I felt that that's the biggest thing. That basically, I do feel that the results have been so indifferent. I don't know quite why the timing this week, I'll be honest with you, but my impression is that discussions have been going on for a few weeks. How can we do this? And that basically I've just felt something in the air, and basically I felt stories are not denied and that sort of thing, and basically I always felt a review would happen at the end of the season, And I just feel that it's the right thing to do. I think today, by the way, the club have handled it brilliantly today.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you guys agree, but I think they've handled it brilliantly.
I think they have, yeah.
To Gazidis' press conference, he spelt it out respectfully. They've obviously been looking to change it, and yet they've done it really well.
Do you think?
For the new manager, where you going? Where would your money go on? Come on,
Enrique,
your money.
I wouldn't. I'm not a betting man, but and this shows you why, because I'm so indecisive. But I just feel that.
Yes, we know that, John.
I just feel that Enrique's expensive, by the way. So it'll be really interesting to see. But I do think they need someone who's young, vibrant, tactically aware, tactically astute.
Is he going to get a good send off?
Well, that's the hope. It's got to be. I mean, listen. I think the only thing I would say against that is if things go horribly wrong against Atletico Madrid, Wenger going or not, departure or not, the disappointment will be overwhelming, and that I think that will outweigh the kind of love. But time is a great healer, you know, and I do feel that Wenger, he stayed too long in my opinion, should have gone last summer in glory. I just feel that this gives it the best opportunity now for him to go out on a high and say farewell. He's been amazing for this football club. He's absolutely amazing. He's a guy with humour. He's a guy with class. I really like him on a personal level as well as a football manager. And I just think if this means then that he gets the send-off that he deserves, then I think he's really, really earned that. I really do. I think he's the greatest manager Arsenal have ever had.
Thank you very much, John. Listen, thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure. All right, cheers. Thank you. That's it.
I'll get home now.
You can get home. John Cross, we ambushed him. But listen, fair play to John. You know, we was on that. He made his plane that time. That's the second time I held you. I remember you trying to get on your plane. To get.
Mate, we both made it run into the plane, didn't we? Just made it. Right, top man.
Take care, John. Listen, you heard what he said.
Yeah.
Greatest ever manager in Arsenal's history.
Yeah, I said that.
No, it was you, wasn't it? Doubting it. You heard what he said.
Well, I respect his opinion. I don't agree, but let's leave it at that. I mean,
You're so hard, don't you? Invincible season. You think you're going to see that again? You think you're going to see an invincible season again? A team go the whole year unbeaten?
no, there's a lot made of that. I mean, it's great.
A lot made of that.
It's great.
He won the title.
I would have taken one defeat to win that Champions League that year. We should have won the Champions League that year. We've not, you know, would you take one champion if you that year we put all that into we went put all that into we went in, all put that all into that Invincible, right?
Chelsea.
Now, can you tell me? Would you rather? No, I mean Ty said to me the other day he'd rather have the Invincible than lose one game and win the Champions League. What would you do?
Do you know what?
I would lose a game and win the Champions League.
Could win the Champions League again.
At the end of the day,
I think you can win it. I'll take the Invincible thing, man. We were striving for that all season.
Rob, whether it's Invincible, it means the same thing. You win the league title. It doesn't. All it means is a gold trophy. A gold trophy.
And something that lives forever.
One thing he hasn't achieved that great managers have done is win back-to-back titles.
That's true.
So if a great manager wins back-to-back titles,
He's still a great manager, Claude. Don't you think he's a great manager?
No, he was a great manager. I'm not saying he wasn't a great manager, but you have to look at his spell in 2 years, fam. In two sections, blood. The first 10 was bad man, gun man, shut down everybody. You understand? Anybody, even if you have a vest, you're getting licked down. You understand? Then he started firing with a blank. You understand? Potato gun, spud gun. Remember them in school? You push it in the potato. You understand?
But I think you know that last 10, a lot of that 10 was because of circumstances. I agree with you. The recent last 3-4 years, not good enough.
No.
But I think six of that 10.
I give him till 2013 when he saw Van Persie. That's when I said, no. I'm done now. Now I'm done. So I gave him from 06 till 2013. You understand? That's 7 years, blood. I gave him time here, fam. I never
You're going to give him a great send-off, though?
I've said I will, fam. Like, hopefully he wins it. He wins the Europa League.
Even if he don't win it, will you give him a great send-off?
Yeah, like, I won't hate on him or nothing. But like, the send-off will be lit if you win the Europa League, fam. Lit. You understand? I'll buy you a bottle of champagne, baby.
What about you? Great send-off if he wins the Europa League.
Oh, well, I'm interested in this football club winning the Europa League and getting to the Champions League next season.
You are miserable. You know.
No, I'm not going on with all this send off. All this bloody look.
You know what? Wait, right? You ain't gonna. Hold on, wait a minute. You're not gonna give the new guy any chance, are you? You're not gonna give. If the new guy comes in and he doesn't hit the ground running,
if it's Brendan Rodgers, I'm off to Barnet, mate. I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you. If it's Brendan Rodgers, I'm not having that. Brendan Rodgers,
ain't gonna give the new guy any.
Oh, of course, no. The new guy's got to be given time.
But will you give him time?
Of course, I'm going to give him time because it's not going to happen overnight, mate. It's not the same thing as someone being here 20 years, man. It's got to be given time.
I mean, you're moaning about the invincible season.
We're in a mess.
You know what I mean?
As long as you see progress.
You're moaning about the invincible season. What time is a new guy going to get with fans like you?
3 games, maybe. no, being on it. No,
but with fans like you, is a new guy going to get any chance?
What do you mean with fans like me? I find that insulting. No, don't give all that rubbish. It's all this fans like me. What do you mean by that?
You're not going to give a new guy any time?
I'm going to give him time. I've not said you've only known me since this guy's been in. So how can you make that assessment?
Yeah.
See, how do you make that assessment?
What I've seen of you over the years. That's how I make that assessment.
I will give. Oh, yeah.
Will you give him time?
Yeah, man. I've already said I'll give him time, fam.
You ain't gonna give him no time either.
I will give him time.
You wait.
Why are you hating? I will give him time. You ain't gonna give him time. You little Wenger.
Would you give him say if the new guy come in and got off to a similar start like David Moyes?
Yeah.
Would you say no, leave him?
You have got to kick. Wenger's been there for 20-something years, fam. 22 years, blood. You understand? His imprint is on the whole club.
I want everybody to note this. Right, as you're watching this right now, both Claude and you, this is on video, you said you give the new...
Brendan Rodgers. If it's Brendan Rodgers, I'm going to Barnet. I'm not having Brendan Rodgers. But
you'd have to give him time.
No. We need someone that's good. We don't want no.
Brendan Rodgers nearly won the title, remember that?
Yeah, and you know why? Do you know why he lost it? Do you know why he lost the title? Because he can't defend like this guy can't. I'm not having him. I'm not having cheerleaders either. I want a top European coach here. I don't want Vieira either. I love the guy as a player, but we need someone experienced, top European player.
Vieira for you?
Vieira's not ready, fam. There's too much to be done here, blood. We need a man that's ready-made. A man like Allegri.
What about a combination of, say,
Allegri
Vieira and Henry?
Nah, neither of them are ready, fam. It'll just be double mayhem.
What, you want a Sky Sports pundit doing a job here? Now, come on, let's be serious now. Henry hasn't got no coaching qualification.
Coaching at the moment, he's at Belgium.
Yeah, but that's
he's an assistant coach.
Assistant coach at an international level. It's completely different. This is not week out. Now, come on. Let's. This is completely different. This is the Premier League. We need someone that's very experienced.
No, but you can look on it like when Wenger came in. Where did he come from? Japan.
But then you go for a Jardine if you're going for a man like that.
I'm just saying that when Wenger came in, nobody knew who he was. He come from Japan. Nobody knew anything about him.
Vieira,
he came in it.
But we know. But he was a manager. He had experience. You understand? What experience does Vieira and Henry have?
What experience did Guardiola have? When Guardiola came in at
Guardiola
Barcelona.
had Messi, Henry, Eto'o, Iniesta, Xavi, PK, Puyol. Shall I carry on? Danny fucking Alves. Who the fuck's gonna come in with fucking Xhaka? Are you mad?
Yeah, but you got Aubameyang.
Nah,
you got Lacazette.
Barnet, blood. Fuck that. Get me a bad man, get me a gun man, get me a hitman, blood. Don't get me no fucking idiot. We're not doing what Man United did, fucking David Moyes, but Moyes. Hey, man, they are moist, blood. I don't want no dickhead in this thing. You're a bad man. If you're gonna go for someone who ain't like kind of Allegri, you go for Jardine. You understand? Them man there. Because look what you done with Lamar and Mbappe. You understand? That's what you do, blood. Don't come with this fool fucking manager.
Yeah, listen.
Nah.
Also, what's this nonsense about he's come from Japan? He managed at Monaco to the French title. So what's all this going? I can't believe this nonsense here. You wouldn't have picked him because...
Do you know who he was when he came in? You heard of him when he came?
Because he
had you heard of him when he got
because Hoddle worked under him. If anyone watched European football, Hoddle and Chris Waddle, they all played under him at Monaco.
Had you heard of him when he came?
Of course I've heard of him. He played under Chris Waddle and Hoddle. He had Hoddle.
You knew when they said for Wenger's coming in, Grandpa say you knew who he was.
Of course I knew who he was. You know what I mean? What do you mean bullshit? I'll plug you in a minute, mate. No, I'm about to start all this bloody bullshit. I'll bloody plug you in. No, you know what I'm saying? I knew he was because he worked with Hoddle. He worked with Glenn Hoddle and he worked in Monaco. All this crap I hear. Oh, you know, big Grandpa say you wouldn't have. That's rubbish. He worked at Monaco, mate.
Yeah, well, Henry's working with Lukaku. Henry's working with De Bruyne. Henry's working with all.
Henry's not a manager. Henry doesn't set out the team. Henry doesn't pick the team.
The Guardiola came in. Guardiola came into that.
The team that Barcelona have, you don't need a fucking manager, blood. They can do what they're doing.
Come on, look what Guardiola's doing now. That's the thing that they've put on him. Look what he did.
So what, you're trying to compare the City players to the Barca team? Are you mad? None of them City players are on the level of any of that Barca team.
If you're coming,
Xavi, Iniesta, and Piqué. Busquets.
Yeah.
That was the best midfield in the fucking world, fam.
You had great
then you had
players.
the best strike force, blood, yeah? Fucking Messi, Eto'o, and Henry. And you're telling me that... Are you mad?
Why did they bother with the manager then?
Why did they bother with the manager? Guardiola was the B team coach, yeah? He was scout. He's the one that knew about Busquets. He put Busquets in there because he saw what Busquets was dealing with. Henry is an international coach, yeah? You're not doing it week in, week out, blood. You're doing it now and again. So obviously, people rate Henry, so they'll play with him and be like, right, it's Henry. They'll listen to him. You understand?
Listen to him here as well.
No, but this is a managerial job. There's too many problems, Robbie. There's too much problems. You're moving like you don't know the thing. You know the fucking thing, blood. We can't get no idiot manager.
I'm just saying that Guardiola, when he came in, nobody really, there was like, Guardiola, all right, great player, legend at the club, but
no, but you could do that.
You need an experience because when you're Barcelona's a job that normally. Wait a minute, Barcelona's a job where you've had experienced managers like Bobby Robson, all guys that get sacked, right? Managers with a wealth of experience, they can't handle the pressure of that job, right?
Rijkaard went in there and done things. He weren't known.
Well, there you go. There you go.
But that's La Liga.
There you go.
Name me a man who's done that in the Premiership now. Go on.
There you go.
No, there you go. Name me a man in the Premiership who's done that now. Go on. Name me a man in the Premiership who's done that now. Go on. You can't, can you? No,
can't think of anyone right now.
Fam. You can't, fam. That's La Liga. You can do them thing. La Liga, like Serie A.
Also in Barcelona, with Guardiola. In Spain, the B team can play in the next league down, which you can't do in this country, and that's why he gets proper experience.
Zidane. Look what Zidane's done.
Yeah, but
look at Zidane.
Isn't that not a similar thing like Thierry Henry, Zidane?
That's a one-off,
mate.
Look
at the Madrid team as well, blood. Look at that team, fam. Look at that team, Robbie, fam. You understand? You got Ronaldo in this thing, blood. You understand?
Who knew Simeone really before he came in at Atletico?
I mean, if we had
but Simeone.
Who knew Simeone? Simeone was a great player. Did he have a lot of wealth of managerial experience when he came in at Atletico?
What's that?
Simeone, when he came in at Atletico, did he have a wealth of managerial experience?
But he's got it now, Rob, and that's what's important.
No, but when he came in, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, maybe someone like a Vieira will have the love of the club,
Different country, different league.
Different country, different league. They won the league. And they've got to finals of Champions League. Maybe you've got to be brave sometimes with the decisions. Maybe you're not the same old.
We've been brave for the last 5 years. Where's it glad he got us, mate?
Let me tell you something as well. Them clubs were not in the predicament that we're in when the managers went in, yeah? They finished second in their leagues, yeah?
What, Atletico when he took over?
Atletico were not in problems when Diego Simeone went in there.
They weren't winning leagues when he went in.
No, but they were never winning leagues, blood.
Exactly.
You understand? They were never winning leagues, blood. So when him going in, you can do it. If you take a hit, it's calm. If we take a hit, we're fucked. We're sixth already. Do you want to go lower?
Enrique's another one, isn't it? Comes a player. It's another one, isn't it? Luis Enrique.
I'll flip it on you again. I'll flip it. Enrique, yeah? Messi, Neymar, Suarez. Come again now.
Do you want a David Moyes situation? Do you want a David Moyes situation? That's what you're asking. That's what you're asking for. Look at Man United. Look at Man United when they got David Moyes in. You don't want that situation again? Do you know what I mean, David Moyes?
I'm just saying that someone like I'm just saying like don't discount someone like a Vieira.
No, this is my thing. Allegri now, or a Jardine, or a Simeone. I whack him low for 3 years. Then, like them and there, you get your experience. Even if you bring him in under them, so one of them can school them, so they can learn their trade. Then you take over. You can't come now. I don't want Uri to come here, man. A cussing Henry, man. A cussing Vieira. Nah. Bergkamp's another one you can look at. You understand? You can put Overmars on the board. You understand? We've got enough man out there that's in the thing that we can bring back in. It's that you got to bring him in at the right time. You can't just put them in like that. Look at Gerrard. They put Gerrard in with the kids. You understand? They're not giving Gerrard the fucking job. Gerrard's the biggest. Gerrard's, apart from King Kenny, who's the biggest fuck? Who's the
I
biggest
got a great name.
What?
Joey Barton.
Yo, interview done. Interview done. Interview done.
He has got the Fleetwood job.
That's another joke. That's another joke. You've got a lot of managers that can't get work, and he just turns up.
Sol Campbell. So that's another one. Sol Campbell.
How's this idiot getting a job for Sol Campbell, fam? Look at the levels, fam.
Yeah, maybe I give him the Arsenal job. Sol Campbell.
Him not ready neither as well, blood. He could come maybe defensive coach, maybe, blood.
All right, listen, we're going to round it up. We're going to round it up anyway, right? Rafa Benítez is another one. Rafa Benítez. What about Rafa?
Nah, not Rafa.
No?
I rate Rafa, but nah, not Rafa.
Rafa?
Do you know what? Short term, I take him.
I knew it. Benítez, you know what? I knew it.
I would take him short term. I would take him short term. Yeah.
You being serious?
Yeah, I think what I say about Rafa, he'll get this defence sorted out. He will. And and remember when he went in Chelsea short term, he done a job, didn't he? He done a great job. He got.
What did they win? They didn't win the league, did they?
Champions League. He won at Liverpool.
No, I'm on about when he went in at Chelsea.
No, because when he actually went in, they were struggling, mate.
He won Europa League.
Yeah, he actually
won
did.
Europa League.
Well, he could.
The tournament he was in, he won. He
could win the Europa League still, Wenger.
Wenger. Yeah, I want Wenger to win it.
I'd love
him to win it, bruv. I want him to win it, fam. Come on, we need Champions League.
I think short term, it wouldn't be a bad idea. At least to get the defence organised. Yeah. Not
Rafa, blood. Rafa. Nah, I'm going Barnett if Rafa comes as well.
Eh?
Rafa or Rodgers, I'm going Barnett, cuz. Not involved, fam. Barnett's close to me as well, blood. 10 minutes.
I'd love it if Brendan Rodgers came in.
Round the corner. I swear down, I'm local, baby. I'm local, blood.
Listen, anyway, we're going to round it up, right? We're going to round it up.
You and expressions that Barnett next season.
When
they mess up at this, when they mess up this FA Cup, and then me, you and expressions if he turn up at Barnet next season.
Listen. We're going to wrap it up.
Barnet bow.
We're gonna.
Weren't that nonsense here? Where's he come out with that Spurnabout crap and all? Jesus Christ! Where's he come out with that Spurnabout? Spurnabout. He thinks he's Real Madrid. I mean, what the hell's that all about?
I heard you earlier saying you'd have Pochettino as well.
Pochettino
as the manager.
Pochettino's a good coach. He's a good coach.
Would you have him in?
He's not a winner.
I tell you what.
He ain't won nothing.
I tell you.
He ain't won nothing, blood. He ain't won. He's got to win this FA Cup, fam. He ain't won fuck all, blood. Pochettino. He's won fuck all.
But anyway, we're gonna listen. We are gonna wrap it up now. It's getting dark up here. Started off in the light. It's getting dark. Thanks to Claude. Thanks to Troopz. Thanks to John Cross as well. Thank you very much for dropping by.
I just want to wish DT. I hope you're doing all right, mate. Because I know he's just had the operation. Good luck. I hope I'm sure now with that news today, his recovery's gone up about 25%.
Well, you know, actually,
he's going to bring the banner and he's going to cut it. It's just going to have thanks for the memories.
Actually, I think you lot did so well on the podcast. I was thinking of just knocking him off the next one.
Fam, I see him try to come on buy a show. You get me, son?
He probably
I come step on your thing, baby. You get me?
He probably will watch this now and say, "That Romeo, he's raging."
They're two big boots to fill, I'm afraid. But
no, he's a good guy. Yeah, get well soon, DT. Yeah. Make sure you get well soon. It's been a momentous day here at the Emirates Stadium. Arsène Wenger is leaving Arsenal Football Club at the end of the season.
I'm going to get pissed now.
Exciting news. There's a brand new show called The Real Football Fan Show coming to Channel 4 every Thursday after that till the end of the season. It's going to be broadcast at midnight and you've got to check it out. It's going to feature fans from all around the Premier League. So make sure you check it out. Hosted by myself, Robbie.